Sir Peter Medawar, who won the Nobel Prize and spent a lot of time in Oxford, he made the point. He said it's pretty obvious that science is limited, since it can't answer the typical questions of a child. Where have I come from? What am I here for? What's the purpose of life? And he said it's outside science to literature, religion, philosophy that we have to look for answers to those questions. And we live in a world where there are very loud voices, strident voices saying science is the only way to truth. And I want to point out that is simply false. In order to illustrate the difference between the God explanation and the science explanation, I ask people to think of boiling water. Why is the water boiling? Well, because the Bunsen burner flame is heating the kettle, is agitating the molecules of water. That's why it's boiling. Really, is it? Actually, it's boiling because I'd like a cup of tea. And people laugh at that. And then I say, why are you laughing? Well, you're laughing because you see that those two explanations are perfectly valid. They don't compete, they don't conflict, they complement. And I often think of Isaac Newton when he discovered the law of gravity. He didn't say, now I've got gravity, I don't need God. What he said was, what a genius of a God that does it that way. And the more we understand of things like art or engineering, the more we admire the genius of the people that produced them. The fact that the pioneers of modern science, as we might call it, like Galileo, Kepler, Newton, coming up to Clerk Maxwell, were believers in God, I'm not sure how well known it is. And I find many school-level kids have never heard this. Because, of course, it means that far from belief in God hindering the rise of science, it was the motor that drove it. People believed in an ordered universe because they believed in a lawgiver behind it. In my case, and many other people's case, our worship for him increases the more we understand, not decreases.